What we're looking at here is a 6,000 PSI bladder kit with the top repairable adapter assembled onto it. This shot shows the bladder ready for installation in the accumulator with the associated parts, the anti-extrusion ring, the outer lock nut, the spacer, and the seals. And the protective
Yeah,
cap.
just walk in and then we'll do 10.
We're now going to assemble the 15-gallon 6,000 PSI top repairable accumulator by taking the bladder, which has already had the pre-assembled top repairable adapter installed at the gas end. You have to fold the bladder longitudinally. It's rolled up, fed in through the top. And once the top repairable adapter is inside the hole, push it in far enough so you can make room for the anti-extrusion ring. It's basically exactly like assembling an oil port assembly for a bottom repair accumulator, but there's no pop it and plug.
Yeah, right in there.
Carefully bending the anti-extrusion ring, inserting it to make sure that the metal faces the technician, reaching back through, pulling out the top repairable adapter, then putting the pull rod on there, onto the gas valve thread, pulling it out tight. Now at this juncture, it would be advisable to put 25 to 35 pounds of nitrogen in the accumulator. Putting the metal washer in, make sure that the top repairable adapter is aligned properly. Then the O-ring. O-ring should be properly lubricated with O-ring seal.
Do you need to show them lubricating it, or is it already lubricated?
No, it already had been done. Then the backup ring, concave surface facing the O-ring. Technician is carefully putting in the backer to make sure that it's seated properly. If there are any bumps in the backup ring when the spacer is tightened on with the lock nut, that will flatten out the seals. Now the spacer. And then the outer lock nut, hand tightened, make sure you don't cross the threads. Then attach the flexible spanner wrench. Hand tighten. And then mallet tighten. Now the accumulator is ready for its full high pressure pre-charge procedure.
Just walk out of there.
At this point, the bladder's been reinstalled in the accumulator with a low precharge. Now the technician is going to introduce the high gas nitrogen precharge using the 6,000 PSI stainless steel hose and the straight air chuck. The 6,000 PSI gas valve has no valve core, so there's nothing to depress. It's a twist lock open and closed valve. You want to tighten the air chuck onto the gas valve with an open end wrench. Then you're going to use the special top repairable adjustment tools. This is a very important procedure. There's two hexes. There's a bottom hex that holds the gas valve in place. You do not, under any circumstances, want to back that out counterclockwise.
Go ahead.
That's to remain tight. And then the top hex is going to open the gas valve. So we're now opening the gas valve. And now at this point, the technician, with assistance, will be introducing high pressure gas by means of a regulator and nitrogen source up to the determined precharge pressure as shown in NOV schematics. This should be done very slowly, 100 PSI increments, 100 PSI stop, 200 PSI stop, and so forth until you get the desired pressure. When you get to 1,000 pounds, you can introduce the gas a little faster because the bladder's been fully inflated and high pressure gas is internal in the accumulator. Slowly bring the pressure up to the desired precharge pressure. Turn off the gas source and tighten the gas, turn the gas valve clockwise to tighten it. It'll be the top hex. Making sure that the technician always holds the bottom hex in place. You do not want to back out that gas valve at that pressure. There's an O-ring in there that would most assuredly extrude. It's a metal-to-metal seat, so tighten it, hand tight. Now the technician is going to turn off the gas source. Removing the air chuck. Prior to removing the air chuck, the technician, after turning off the gas source, would have opened the bleed valve on the charging head assembly, relieving the pressure in the hose. Now we're checking the gas valve to make sure there's no bubbles, make sure there's no leaks. Dry it. Install the valve cap. Install the protective cap. And the safety cap. On subsea bottles or offshore bottles, there will be no safety cap. It'll be a solid stainless steel cap.
Let it go.
At this point, the technician is now going to introduce the high pressure precharge, which is dictated by the Schaefer NOV schematics. We're attaching the 6,000 PSI air chuck, which is a straight air chuck that goes on the 6,000 PSI gas valve. There is no valve core in the 6,000 PSI gas valve, so never use the right angle type gas chuck. for a 6,000 PSI because that's only rated for 3,000 PSI. Technician is tightening the air chuck onto the stainless steel valve stem, gas valve stem. We're now going to be very slowly and carefully opening the gas valve with the special wrenches, as there's angled wrenches to get into the top repairable adapter. The bottom wrench is holding the gas valve in place. The top wrench is going on the top nut, which is going to loosen the gas valve about 1.5 turns. And we're going to now introduce the high pressure gas.
You want to hold that valve up or no?
So you want to hold the charging head up, Mark?
Out this way?
So I can see it. Turn it. This requires 2 technicians, one to control the gas flow, one to read the pressure. Very slowly pre-charge the bladder at 500 PSI at a time. When you get to the desired pre-charge level, it should be the gas valve. The gas should be shut off, and for about 30 minutes until the temperature stabilizes, and recheck it. At this point, the gas has now reached the proper level. We're going to shut off the supply of gas to the accumulator, having already shut off the gas source. I'm going to remove the wrenches. And very carefully open the bleed valve, bleeding the gas from the source in the hose. Now everything is at 0 pressure. Now the hose can be removed by way of the air chuck. I'm going to put on the valve cap. Prior to doing that, we're going to spray the gas valve to make sure there's no leaks. If there's no sign of bubbles, it's acceptable, ready to go. Putting on the valve cap.
Gotta do this.
I'm going to put on the protective cap. Tighten that with an open end wrench. Tighten the safety cap. Accumulator is now ready for service.
You want to take it from the valve cap?
If you're using a deluxe toolkit, which contains a 3,000 PSI and a 6,000 PSI charging assembly, make sure you don't use the charging valve extension for this high pressure gas. I'm going to put that in the notes. Yeah. But I wanted to put it in the voiceover at this point.
Yeah, we don't want to see the gauge too much, so yeah, that's
good. You can raise it up.
You can raise it a little. just gauge however long you would need that to happen and move
Well,
forward.
frankly, this could take up to
Yeah.
25 to 30 minutes.
Okay, okay, cool. Have a look at it.
Give it a good look.
Okay. On your yellow?
Just take it from that last.
Nope, all the parts.
If you put the valve extension on, make sure that you remove the